I call him Ice.
Welcome everybody to Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm Tats. I'm here with Rob and Goose, and move over Italian Stallion.
Hey, I want a better name than this, man. Now there's the Vanilla Ice, no Iceman. What's the character that Val Kilmer played?
That was Iceman.
Iceman, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I called him Vanilla Ice. Okay, so Iceman. I prefer Iceman, or what was the one that Tom Cruise played?
Who cares about Tom Cruise?
Maverick. Maverick, baby. I'm the Maverick of the show.
Well, Stallone better move over because there's a new Italian stallion in the sporting world, and that name is Anthony Rizzo, who had a phenomenal night. And 3 home runs. It was his first 3 home run game in his career, and he said it was a game he'll never forget. You don't forget your first. And it was a game that up until the bullpen was coming in, it looked like the Yankees just had this one in the hand. And it was just going to be that we were finally going to get that game that was just, this is how we should be playing against the Orioles. And the Orioles, I'll give them, give their bats credit. They gave us a fight, but lucky enough, some of the unusual players were big contributors. Gallo with his first home run of the year, Torres with the bases clearing triple. I mean, it was just insane. That the players that we've been kind of knocking were the ones that came through to make sure that the Yankees secured a win. And the birthday boy even had a bomb. So it was just a really good outing offensively, all around, all through the lineup. Runners getting on base. It was a very feel good win against a team that we should always be winning against. So, what was your biggest take on from the game yesterday?
Bullies. I said we needed to be bullies yesterday. So offensively, we bullied them around. We were just hitting them left and right. Rizzo didn't even think that last one went over the wall. He thought it was a foul ball. And Gallo hit a bomb. Captain Judge getting one. Torres probably would have been thrown out at third on a better throw, but still got the triple to score in 3. DJ keeps hitting the hit streaks at like 12 games now. So everyone's contributing right now, and it's great to see. Sevy looked really good on the mound. He gave up a couple of runs later in the game, but overall he looked just as good as he has all year. I'm not too worried about the bullpen because they've been so lights out all season. They had their one rare bad game, but when you're scoring 12 runs, you should win no matter what. And came out swinging the bats, and I think they got up to a slow start, but it wasn't until Falefa got that hit. He started everything, and he keeps hitting. Keep it going. Keep being bullies. 10 runs in back-to-back games for the first time since August of last year. So if this offense is starting to get going, finally, we've outscored ourselves like the last 4 games. We have 30-something runs, and we scored 25 the first 12 games. So I like it. Keep it going. Keep beating up the teams you need to beat.
What it is this is the offense that we expect from them. This is what these are the amount of runs that the names in that roster should be putting up. It should be easy to hit double digits on a regular basis. There's going to be games where you're just facing a team's ace and they're going to shut you down. Teams have aces for a reason. But as long as they're coming out on top, it doesn't matter who they're going against. These bats should be able to figure out pitching no matter who's on the mound. And you're starting to see that, even if it's against the lower level teams. If they're not doing it now, when would they do it? So that's very reassuring. Donald, your thought?
Nobody beats the Riz. Short and succinct. God, that was fun, man. That was a fun game to watch. It was a really just well played offensive game. It was exciting, and Rizzo just looks absolutely unbelievable. Dude's on fire, man. We need to get a good nickname for Riz. Do you think nobody beats the Riz? Anybody else? What do you think?
Just call him Gabagool.
But go. And no, I'm psyched, man. Yeah, no, but you're right about Torres clearing the bases. That was big, and you know that he's seeing the ball well when he's hitting the ball in right or left center. That means he's centering the ball. That means that he's seeing the ball well. He's putting together a good quality swing on that. It's when he's off that he's pulling, and he's out in front all the time. But when he's on, you can see that he's drilling the ball. In left or right center field, and that's what he's been doing lately. So that's a good sign. Hopefully we ride that. It was as I thought, that with Hicks being out of the lineup, it actually helped us because it meant that we could play our strongest team. For me, it meant that we could have our big three in the outfield, and it meant that DJ can play his most regular position at second base, and it meant that Torres can get regular at bats at DH. And it worked out well. The whole offense just hit, and Kiner Fleif at the bottom of the order is batting like 320. And DJ LeMahieu is on a 12-game hitting streak or 13-game winning streak?
I think it's 12.
Well, he is on fire, DJ LeMahieu. Not enough people are talking about DJ. He is my DJ, and he's all our DJs. And there's not too many DJs. And so he's on fire, man. So yeah, it's looking good, man. It was actually a fun game to watch, and it's been a while that I could say that about the Yankees, because usually these games last year or so has been kind of, but this one's been fun. It was offense, and they hit well up and down the order. Good quality swings, good quality at bats, and Riz, man, 3 home runs. He leads the majors in home runs. Awesome.
Yeah, he's got 8 home runs now, and that's the amount of home runs the whole Orioles team has. So, I mean, he's on a pace right now to start the season that we really needed, and it's gonna happen. He's gonna go through a cold streak, but that's just how baseball is. It's hot and cold, But if he's hot right now when we need him in the beginning, let it happen. I don't think anybody's going to be, nobody should be complaining about the offense right now. I mean, we were very critical of it in the first week of the season. It seems like now we're starting to see that the shortened spring training is no longer in effect, where these guys are just they're loose. They're seeing the ball a lot better. Their timing is better. And so this is just a positive sign for things to come. But it always starts with the starting pitching, and Severino he was lights out. What do you got? You retired first 13 batters, and it gave a chance for the offense to, figure out the timing of the Orioles pitcher, Lyles, and Lyles isn't a bad pitcher. He's given us trouble before. It's the persistence of patience pays off, and that's what we're starting to see in these last couple of games with the Yankees.
Oh, they're simplifying. Yeah. When we were struggling, it seemed like everyone was trying to be the hero, and get that one swing that got over the wall and got the offense going. And now they're just being simple. When IKF said he's being himself, when he was struggling to start the season, you can see he was trying too hard. Same with Donaldson, even DJ at first. You kind of saw him not being himself. Judge, it just goes up and down the order. Now everyone's just kind of keeping it simple and doing what works. Even Joey Gallo's been on a little bit of a tear the last 5 games. He's hit safely. So, I mean, everyone's just seeing the ball better. They're keeping it simple, working within the strike zone. They're not swinging 8 feet out of the zone, or sometimes they are, but they're just simplifying things. And it's amazing that such a simple concept is what's getting this offense going over the last 4 or 5 games. So if that's what works, don't try to fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right now it's working, everybody's hitting, and keep it going. I'm sure today we'll see Trevino play, which will maybe help, maybe not, who knows. It goes back to what I said, getting that base of a lineup. Now we know who's going to stay where. That hasn't really changed. They moved some spots around, but the bulk of it DJ is at the top of the order, and then it's Judge and Rizzo. You have this base now for the top of your order, and it allows you to maneuver where you have to when you need to make that rotational switch, and it's working. So that's all we were asking for, is just give us some sort of a base, and then you can make adjustments based on that, and it's working. So credit to Aaron Boone, put out a good lineup yesterday, and it produced. And credit to this offense.
Having LeMahieu, Judge, and Rizzo is the perfect three-headed monster to get your offense going, to start a game, because they're seeing the ball so well. And it goes back to them playing to their ability, seeing that, LeMahieu and Judge are 100% healthy at the moment. So that gives them, you're able to see what they can really do. LeMahieu last year, it was just a fluke. It wasn't that we signed a a LeMahieu that just kind of, was just going to be an average player. He's still exceptional at that. And the defense, you're starting to see that with the defense aligned properly, the comfort of the pitching, it's all tying together. And if this is what we're going to be getting for the most of the year, then I think we underestimated this team in the offseason.
You mean we? I was the most positive out of the three. I'm just saying. I said
the fans in general.
Right, I know what you're saying. I'm just going to give myself a little pat on the back.
No, you weren't overly concerned.
I mean, look, it's still very, very early, but it's better to see us winning now, because at this point last year, I think we were below 500 or right around 500. So being 5 games over, right there with Toronto at the top of the division, that's what we need to we need to do, is we need to stay afloat, keep winning games and win series, and it's going to help us in the long run, because that gives you the confidence to go, you don't win anything in April, but you can lose these things in April. So you have to, at the very least, hover around a 500 record if you're struggling. Right now, we're 5 games over, and just want to see it keep going, because this team looks confident. They're loose. They're having fun, and you just want it to keep going for as long as possible, because this is baseball. They're going to hit a snag, and they're going to start losing some games, and you're like, oh, this team sucks, and it's going to happen, because baseball is just that kind of a sport. It's too long of a season for it not to happen. But if you play like this in April, at least it gives you the confidence. We know the team we can be. We have the pitching, we have the offense, but it just needs to be sustainable. And I would love to avoid that inevitable losing streak, because it happens every single year. But if you can at least keep that losing streak down, because what was it last year? We had like a 8-9 game losing streak or something after the 12-game winning streak. You can't have that happen this year. So, just avoid it. If you lose a few games, okay, but turn around quickly. And I think we have the offense and the pitching specifically to avoid that this year. Just keep doing what you're doing, though. Everything right now is working. Keep that going.
Yeah, the important thing that they have to do is avoid the 2-3 game losing streaks, because then you start getting into your own head, and you start playing above your pay grade and trying to be, everybody in the lineup is trying to be the savior. Where when you're winning, you're a little, you're able to stay more comfortable and play to, your skill level. If you're not a home run hitter, don't go up there swinging for the fences. And we're starting to see that from Torres. Ever since, he was getting some good at bats, then he had the walk off, and you're seeing Torres is just, I was like, all right, this works for me. This is what got me here. I'm just going to continue doing this because I can still contribute to the team. And you saw that last night. He's not trying to hit it out of the ballpark. He's just trying to, make solid contact and hit it into the gaps. So that's another positive. Torres was getting a lot of crap, and he's starting to, come out of his shell a little bit and get back to the Torres that we enjoyed watching. And, another one is Gallo. Gallo was another one taking a lot of shit. And then, now it might be this, with his home run last night, you might start to see that come back for him. All right, I don't have to, I could just play to my ability. Yeah, he's going to have the strikeouts and the walks, but if he's putting together long contributing at bats, this could be something that propels him to be a little more productive in the lineup. So it's all coming together, and I'm enjoying it. Donald, very quiet.
We've got two more with the Orioles, and then we've got a series with the Royals after that. So 3-game set against the Royals. This is an opportunity with the next 5 games. You want to certainly win the vast majority of them. If we do that, then we go into kind of a difficult stretch with obviously 3 against the Blue Jays, which is tough. 3 against the Rangers. The Rangers have a good offense, but they've got no pitching. So we should be okay there. Then the Jays again, and then the White Sox, and that takes us right through to about 15th, 16th of May. So White Sox is kind of difficult, but they're struggling out of the gate right now. They're below 500. So there's an opportunity right here, right through to the middle of May, to certainly stamp your authority. The Red Sox have started very slowly. They're like 4 games below 500. Tampa are a game above. And it's us and Toronto right at the top. So obviously, as I say, we're only a couple of weeks in. Can only go by short sample sizes. But certainly from what I'm seeing offensively, there is just a little bit more adaptability, a bit more contact at the bottom of the order. With Falefa, it's exactly what we needed, actually, in fairness. And starting pitching wise looks pretty good. Not overly concerned by Severino giving up that 3-run bomb. That happens. Loaizaga, Litke didn't do too good yesterday, but again, considering how well the bullpen's pitched at this point, it's really not a big issue at all. It's looking pretty good, man. The pitching's been decent, very decent, and offense is coming together. I'm excited about the season I think we're going to have from Rizzo and LeMahieu. I think they're going to have big years. Rizzo already leads the league in home runs. And with that short porch in Yankee Stadium, he can feast. He can feast there, man. With that swing, that beautiful swing of his, and his approach with 2 strikes. Not enough is mentioned about his approach with 2 strikes, man. He's just as comfortable with 2 strikes as he is in any other point in the count. He's very, very comfortable. He can choke up on the bat on 2 strikes, or he just look to make quality contact. And a lot of the time, it goes right out of the ballpark. So he's looking great, man. That was a steal of a contract. It really was. So, and you know what? Another good day for Brian Cashman. It's starting to look better for him, man. The Falefa and Rizzo deal look pretty good right now. Pretty good.
That ego of his, that ego of his is going through the roof right now. He heard you. He's like, you see, you doubted me. Great. The ego is now shot through the roof.
See what you started?
I'm just trying to get us back into good graces from the Yankees.
You're right, though. You are right, though, because when you look at it, Rizzo re-signing was always a good move because you saw that he played well here last year. And if you weren't going to spend big for Freeman, it made all the sense in the world, or pay the prospects for Olsen. Rizzo just made too much sense to bring back. And the Donaldson trade, there's still a lot of question marks about it, the contract and all that. But when you look at getting Falefa, if you're going to have a stopgap and you're dead set on this kid being your shortstop of the future in Volpe, then getting a contact-oriented, defensive-minded shortstop made all the sense because that's what we needed. We needed speed, contact, and defense at that position, and he brings all 3 of them. And he's getting more comfortable each and every day because he's a third baseman playing shortstop, but he's looking better and better. Early on, he looked like he was really skittish and he was nervous. But now he's just playing. He's just playing baseball. That's all he's doing, and it's working. So, and that's what the whole team is doing. But in terms of him specifically, he's just playing baseball, and he's having fun. And they're having fun. The whole team is having fun. They got their own little celebrations. They're joking around with each other. That's what you want to see.
It's
Very,
a
very
different
weak.
locker room, much different locker room than it was last year.
Yeah.
Last year, they looked like they were sleepwalking through most of the year. It was badly managed, and it was just there was no motivation. They just treated every game like, oh. But this is a different team this year. You can already tell. A couple of weeks in, they're a little bit more. There's a little bit more energy. They're actually treating April like it matters, which is really nice because for a couple of years they treated April like it's just
it wasn't
it's just extended spring training.
Yeah, April baseball was not Boone's strength.
No, they treated it like it was extended spring training.
Yeah.
But I think they know now that they don't have Aprils to take off. They've learned that. Well, I hope they've learned that lesson from last year because April was a lot of the reason why they didn't win the division, and the Orioles is a lot of the reason why they didn't win the division. So now they're giving the Orioles a little bit. Well, the last couple of games have given the Orioles a bit of a good kicking, which is what they deserve, and what they need to do, and then they're treating April with a little bit more urgency, and look at how much it's paid off. We're already right there near the top of the division, one of the better teams in the American League. And, when all the other teams start getting hot, like the White Sox and Boston, I'm sure, and Tampa Bay, then at least the Yankees have a little bit more of a cushion. But that's why it's really important to continue this momentum. So they need to get through this. They need to probably sweep this series against the Orioles, let's be honest. They need to take at least 2 out of 3 against the Royals. And then if you do that, then we're in really good shape because then it won't matter too much if we lose the series against Toronto. Even if we lose a 2 out of 3 against Toronto, it's not the end of the world. So that's why these games really matter. It really does matter. So at least they're treating it with the kind of urgency that it needs. And yeah, like the energy, man. A little bit more energy, a little bit more fight. It's certainly welcome, man. It's been a tough couple of years to watch this team. Let's not like sugarcoat it. It's been brutal to watch. So we've got rid of guys that we needed to get rid of, Voit and Sanchez, particularly.
Who are both on the IL right now.
Exactly, which is what I was going to lead to, the fact that they're already hurt. Sanchez was a big problem with this team. He really was. Because look at what
Voigt's hurt.
Voigt's hurt.
What happened to Voit now?
I think it's his wrist, something.
Bicep or something like that.
Yeah, something with his bicep.
Sanchez
is abdominal, and Clint Frazier's got appendicitis.
Frazier's out. So we had to move on from these guys, and guess what? We got our number 1 catcher for Albert Abreu. Trevino's been excellent behind the plate. One of the better catchers in the American League defensively. And his pitch framing is like the best or something like that. He's just crazy. And we got him for Abreu. That was a steal of a trade. Again, Cashman, your ego is going to be through the roof right now, but I got to give you props when it's merited. That's the thing. We're always going to be honest on this show. Yep. When we rip it, there's a reason why we rip it, and if it's positive, then if we give a compliment, that means it's it's genuine and it's meant. So I certainly don't want to dismiss that it was a smart trade. Really was.
Just like there's ebbs and flows in the regular season with the players. It's the same thing with the mood of the fans. If you're giving us something to be excited about, their excitement level is going to be there. If you're playing like crap, we're going to be pissed off. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, they were chanting Gallo's name last night too, and he was getting booed mercifully the first 2 weeks of the season. And they were chanting Joey, and if he would have hit a home run during those chants, it might have been the signature moment of his career.
Aren't we just the worst fan base in the world, though? Aren't we just the very, very worst that we actually were chanting the name of the guy that was batting 100? This fan base deserves a lot more credit than it gets, goddammit.
Judge put that on Instagram. He called us the best fans in the world. So
thank you.
First time he's done. I think it's the first time he's done that on Instagram, at least. So there's a little pat on the back for the fan base. He's got our back, guys. He did what you asked. So maybe we can.
That's what I was asking for. Somebody to actually stand up for us. And that's why I was a little bit annoyed at Aaron Boone that he didn't take that opportunity when he was like, oh, I kind of disagree. No, have the balls, man. Just say, no, that's flat out wrong. This is a very knowledgeable, passionate fan base, one of the most passionate in the entire world. And so that's all I was asking. So I'm glad Aaron Judge said that.
No, it's one of those with the fans. we have our expectations, and our expectations every year are higher than the year before. It's not that we want, we don't want to just make the playoffs. We want to win the World Series. We don't want to win the World Series. We want to destroy the opponent in the World Series. We always want we always want that little more because we feel it's owed to us. And maybe that's why we get called spoiled fans, because we feel like we're owed a World Series every year because we're the Yankees and we have the Yankees have so many rings.
Right, I don't believe it's owed to us, though. I don't believe that's
no. I think that narrative is gone.
No. I want to disagree with what you said that we feel that it's owed to us. I don't believe that I feel that it's owed to us.
Other fans feel like that's how they look at us.
Oh, okay.
Right. They look at us like we think it's owed to us, but it's not.
Okay. Right.
It's Yankee fans have a high expectation, and if it doesn't reach that expectation, we're gonna let the players and everybody know. Look, this is what we expected. They didn't deliver. This team sucks. And but every fan base should be that way. It can't always be picnics. You got to go into battle a little bit, and we will battle the players left and right if they're not performing to what we want them to.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time, anytime you get into a debate with a fan, especially a Yankee fan, we're going to come at you with facts. We're not just going to make blanket statements. We're going to be able to back up what we say. And if other fan bases can't handle that, that's on them.
I agree with that.
Sometimes some fans will use facts. Other fans, that are kind of the new era of fans via Twitter will just say 27 rings, bro, and I don't like that narrative. Unless it's like having trash talk, with a friend, that can't be your go-to. That doesn't work. Not in this decade. Barely in the previous one either. Yeah. Not even in the previous one. It's a new decade now. No, I mean, look, we're passionate fans. We're gonna be real. We're also, we're gonna tell it like it is. If we're mad, we're gonna tell you. If we're excited and we were proven wrong, we've never once shied away from that. Like say, hey, this guy proved me wrong. That's just what we are as fans. We're gonna tell it like it is. We're not gonna be fake. We're not gonna, like, for example, if Donaldson starts raking down the stretch, we're not going to say, I always knew it. I told you so. I told you so. We're going to say, hey, we had reason to doubt this. Yeah. But he's proven us wrong. It's just a simple thing. That's all you have to do. If you said something before and you're been proven wrong, just own up to it. That's what we do here. That's what most Yankee fans do. It's what most fans around sports do, at least the knowledgeable ones. So it's just part of being a fan, where when you're into something like the way we are, when you're diehard, that's just how it is. And you're not going to change the way you are for certain people on the internet. So it's just, that's what you get with us. We're unfiltered. We're going to tell it like it is because we love this freaking team. We've invested most of all of our lives to this freaking team, and we're just going to keep watching us, even though we're
content creators for this team. I mean, if there's any bigger compliment, I mean, listen, we love this team. I wouldn't swap it for anything, man. I would not swap that for anything. There's other fan bases that are, fair play to them. Like, they root passionately for like losing franchises, and they're just really happy for whatever crumb is thrown their way, and that's fair. That's okay. That's cool for them. But I wouldn't swap having expectations and having a belief, because these pinstripes are special. When you don that pinstripes, it's different than any other jersey that you wear. In Major League Baseball or any actual sport in general, it's a special jersey. It's the jersey of Gehrig and DiMaggio and Berra and Jeter and Mo and Yogi and Babe Ruth. It's a special jersey, and so when you don that jersey, I expect performance from you. Yep. And if you don't get it, if you don't perform, then I'll let you know about it. It's as simple as that. That's because it's a special jersey. If it was any other jersey, then you give them a leash. You're like, oh, all right, okay, cool. But it's not. It's the Yankees. And as long as the Yankees always remember who they are, and it's not necessarily about winning 100 games every single year or winning championships every single year. I just demand hard work and I demand like passion and a genuine love and affection of wearing that pinstripes. That's all I ask for. If you give me that and we win more games than we lose, you'll never hear a complaint from me. So that's where I was pissed off at last year. They treated it like it was any other jersey. They looked like they just mailed in that season. They mailed in the playoffs, and I was furious. And I'm not going to apologize for it. So it's looking a little bit more positive this year. There's certainly, I mean, for instance, I'll obviously mention this before, but when I went to a Pirates game, beautiful stadium, really good franchise. My God, there's the ownership has screwed them, and I was watching the game and they were getting beaten up left, right, and center. they were imploding. And I gave them the reliever who was getting lit up like a bonfire. I gave him a little bit of a hard time from the stands. And the person beside me was like, "Oh, don't be mean. He's got a really nice mother." I was like, "What are we doing here? Like, is that what you guys are like? Oh, don't be mean to this reliever who's got like a 10 ERA because his mother's really nice. He goes to my bakery. Come on, like." So that's what I'm talking about. When New York, when you wear those pinstripes, you got to earn it. You got to earn it. You got to fight for it. That's all I'm asking for. So I'm not gonna apologize for it, but I'm gonna root for this team no matter.
No, it's like one of the reasons that players. Everybody talks about that Yankee moment. And you have players that until they actually do something, they're just somebody that's on the team. But if you're really giving us something, like the thing that always stood out for me when I was all in on Gregorius was that wild card game with the 3-run home run.
Mm-hmm.
That was he pumped life back into that game. Chad Green coming in after Severino just did not have it. And just shutting down that makes you that's when you get embraced by the fans. Not because it's not sometimes it's not always the regular season. Donaldson, he might tear it up in October. Who knows? Just like Stanton. Stanton won a lot of fans over with his postseason play.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what you're doing in the regular season. To us, it's October that matters. We could care less what you did in April. Can you do that in October? Now we love you.
Yeah. It's all about October for me.
Yeah,
it really is. If you show up in October, then you've basically got a lifetime love from me. Like DJ LeMahieu, he was clutch in his very first October, and I just had full faith in him ever since. And I didn't even worry about last year. I just knew he was going to come around because the dude's just an excellent hitter. There's guys that are really good, but if they don't turn up in October, I sour on them fast. It's just a part of the expectations. So I love Didi Gregorius. I still do for that same reason that you gave.
We're seeing that this team, as opposed to last year, and we've said it before, and I'll say it, one more time. You're seeing that they actually care. It's like they're going into these games with the expectations of winning, not just getting through the game. Well, last year it was very lackadaisical. It's like, all right, well, this team is, they're 30 games under 500. So it's not going to take a lot of effort to win. And then they were getting embarrassed. This year, they're starting the season with a lot more urgency. And we've even credited Boone for that. But you're starting to see these players taking if they are in the grasp of winning a game, they're doing what they have to win it. You saw that yesterday. The Orioles were getting close. They put up another couple of runs, to just put it a little, this way, going into the ninth, now it's a 4-run game instead of a 2-run game. We wouldn't have seen, I don't think we would have seen that last year.
I do credit Boone. I think Boone's a little bit of a different manager this year.
And you could go, you could watch yesterday's episode for our praise of Boone. We treated him. I think that was the best we ever treated him.
I think it filtered. I keep hearing echo. I think it filtered in the clubhouse last year that they were kind of planning series ahead and looking past the games that they were actually playing right now. And the Yankees treated it that way. You know what I mean? It was sort of like, okay, we're going to use all our low leverage relievers and all our bench players for this game in order to prepare for this game at the end of the week. And the Yankees played it like that. They were just sort of like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to put in I'm going to half-ass this effort through the week because we got the Red Sox at the end of the week, and that seems to be what we're preparing for. And that just filtered through the whole season, and they played the whole season like that. I'm getting a different vibe. As I say, it's only a couple weeks in, but we can only go by the sample size because we're going to be talking about this till the cows come home. So on the current sample size, it does look like they're approaching things a little bit differently, a little bit more urgently. And the only misstep that Boone's made was dropping Aaron Judge on Jackie Robinson Day, but he kind of apologized for it in a roundabout way, and that's kind of, again, that's all I ask for from a manager. If you screw up, I want you to be accountable. If you're accountable, then you'll get more respect from me. There was no accountability last year at any point from anybody. So again, that's a good sign that you're getting a little bit more accountability this year. Let's just be human, man. Just talk to us normally, you know?
Rob?
Yeah. Oh, we ask for, just be accountable, you know? Be accountable when things are going wrong, admit to your mistakes. You know, we already talked about it yesterday with Boone. He's not giving the company answer. He's being honest with reporters. He's getting mad at certain questions, you know, like he's getting irked when people ask him certain questions, you know, and we didn't see that last year. Like we're seeing him kind of get an attitude a little bit. It's like, he's like, hey, maybe he's a New Yorker now. He's starting to get mad at people. And I like that. You know, I want to see a little more fire from the manager, not just when the team is losing, so I'm going to go get myself thrown out when it's over. You know, that kind of nonsense. I think players gravitate towards that. When the managers look, there's a difference between being a friend. We always said that Boone was just trying to be everyone's friend, but maybe the whole, we're going to be cool with you, kind of like, I'm going to be your friend, but also maybe he's getting on them more. Maybe this new coaching staff is doing that. Maybe we're not talking about these guys enough because it's a whole new staff aside from his bench coach and Matt Blake. So, you know, maybe it's something like that where he's letting his coaches do their jobs and his job as the manager. I'm going to put the lineups out there and, you know, who knows what's going on behind the scenes, but definitely things do seem different. And again, still very, very early, but this early sample size, it's different. Everything feels different than last year because last year we walked through April with no urgency. We're taking series off, not just games, series.
Yeah.
You know, like going back to that Detroit series last year, we got swept. We should have beaten them all 3 games, and we got swept. You can't take series off, and because it cost us an entire division, basically. Now they're kind of going into things where even if you have to sit a guy, we feel like we can go to anyone on the bench and they're going to give us production. You know, Marwin Gonzalez has come through a couple of times, or if it's Trevino or Higgy, whoever the bench infielder is, you can feel confident in one, and Glaber going in the lineup now if he needs to play defense. So things are different. The only person I would say is kind of a weak link is Locastro because he's just known for running, but even he's had a couple of hits so far since coming up. So, hey, right now, whatever it is they're doing, keep doing it because it's working. And for once, the fans are in agreement that we're playing well. So just keep that positive energy going because I don't want to get to that point where we were last year where every day we were just like, man, it's got to change. They got to turn that corner, right? Yeah. Because there was a very long corner. It was a very long corner last year, right? So right now, keep it going, man. That's all. It just good gabagool energy right now. The Italians are bringing the energy.
Yep. Yeah, and like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, and whatever they're doing, it's working right now, and just keep going. You know, until you can't go anymore. But that's going to wrap things up for us today. Just remember, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check out our social media in the description. Follow us, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's all down there. Listen to us on sportname.com/player, on Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku, wear your pinstripes with pride, and play hard.